big retailers are finally on board with the $15 minimum wage, but the pandemic reveals that workers need a lot more from their employers. Here's an article that was in Business Insider within the last 24 hours, so over the weekend. And it really highlights kind of the changing dynamics that we're seeing as it relates to the way employers are looking at the minimum wage equation, and also what the workforce is looking for in their work agreements with their employers. It's interesting. So a couple details here. The Walmart, Sam's Club, CVS, they've all kind of agreed or they've committed to a $15 an hour minimum wage. We also talked on some prior videos about Amazon and their move to $18 an hour minimum wage. And of course, you can kind of see when these big companies are doing this kind of stuff that just how expensive it is for them not to have the right or the optimum labor force for themselves. And so, that of course puts price pressure on wage and wage comes up. What I think is going to happen here is that just as there's a competition to the bottom when you compete on price and you kind of chop away at your margins, retailers and things. This is a good problem to have, but what's going to happen is you're going to see a kind of a competition to the top, and it looks like Amazon who can go to the market at an $18 an hour wage is probably going to win, at least in this game. But you just get higher and higher prices up until the place where you starch out all the margin, and then companies become unviable. But this is good. This is good for workers. I mean, it's always good for workers to get paid more, and I'm definitely on that side of the boat. But what I think is also interesting to look at is the changing dynamics around what people expect from their employers. The key line in this headline is that the pandemic revealed that workers need a lot more from their employers, and it's true. I think there's a really big gap and a really big opportunity for employers in this day and age to appeal to the contemporary workforce in ways that don't just speak to price, essentially. When people go to work, I mean, we know from experience that it's not just about the money. There are other things that people are looking for in their relationship with their employer that speak to how happy people are in that environment. And I pulled a couple stats here just to have a look at. So 84% of the people polled on this article that I found want greater work-life balance. 67% want more flex work, so a flexible arrangement with how they work. 60% want to save more time. 49% want to save more money. And 48% don't want the commute. So they want to eliminate the commute stress from their life. And so these are things that other than maybe save money, that don't have anything to do with how much they're getting paid. I mean, there are quality of life issues or factors that are brought up here. And so there's a real big opportunity for a company who wants to play in this world of kind of mass hiring and competing at these wage levels, that you can appeal to the market in a way that's attractive and makes your brand look attractive as a place to work, that differentiates yourself from the price. So, it's going to look different to different companies, but how can an organization's employer brand appeal to helping people save more time? How can it appeal to eliminating the commute? I mean, even if, for example, you can't eliminate a commute, is there programs or things that you can put in place that makes the stress of the commute less stressful? I mean, just an idea, but you could throw in programs that encourage kind of continuous education while people are on their commute. So things to listen to, things to read, just to get rid of the psychology of being on a commute and that kind of stuff. So knowing that there are so many other factors that go into what people look for when they are at work and what they're looking for from their employers. It's interesting that these big retailers are focusing on wage, but again, it's a good thing. It's a good thing that the wages are coming up. I think that's important, but something that we've talked about in other videos is that with inflation, kind of any benefit or net benefit that you get in wage, if inflation keeps up, kind of starches out any benefit there too. So retailers have to compete on something other than wage, that adds value to an employee's life, such that you don't have to compete higher and higher on wage up until where it really affects your balance sheet. So just a couple of thoughts when I saw this headline. I think it's a good sign. It's a good sign that the retailers are moving their wages up. But I see a big opportunity when it comes to the employer brand and ways that companies can really appeal to the market, to make competition, at least against somebody who, for example, can pay a higher wage than your organization. There's a lot of opportunity there to still appeal to the market and make people come to your organization as the better place to work long term.